This is the Hard Thing Podcast. Welcome to The Forge. Welcome back to another episode of the Hard Thing Podcast. This is The Forge, where we put ourselves to the test doing hard things in an attempt to inspire you to do hard things to improve your life. Usually I'm here with my co-host, Ty Crockett. Unfortunately, I'm doing a solo show today, so you're going to hear from me, but hopefully it's still helpful, inspiring, and instructive. But most importantly, hopefully it gets you up and doing. Hopefully it gets you moving in the right direction. That's the whole goal of today's show. So let's get right into it. Usually we talk about challenges. In the last few weeks, we haven't had the chance to give each other challenges, so nothing new to report. But if you guys do want to send us a challenge, you can go to thehardthingpodcast.com/submit thehardthingpodcast.com/submit-challenge. You can submit a challenge to us. We will read it live on the air. And if yours is chosen as the challenge of the month, we'll actually send you a $20 gift card to Amazon. So again, thehardthingpodcast.com/submit-challenge. Now, this week, I had the opportunity to have on my show Scott Miller, who wrote the book Marketing Mess to Brand Success, which is actually coming out this May. I had the chance to read the book. It was an excellent read. But in our conversation, one of the things we talked about, more than anything was self-awareness. We talked a lot about being very aware of what it's like to work with you, what it's like to be married to you, what it's like to be your friend. And I can honestly say, in a very personal way, for me, it hit home. And I looked at my life and started looking at various interactions that I have with people around me. And I noticed that I was taking for granted a little bit the people around me. And I wasn't appreciating them as much as I could, unfortunately. So I want to give you the same opportunity to have more self-awareness. And I'm not perfect. Obviously, this is proof of that. Proof that I'm not perfect. Proof that I have a lot to work on. But I want to give you the opportunity to look at your life introspectively and really think about what it's like to be your friend, what it's like to be your employer, what it's like to be your coworker, what it's like to be your employee, what it's like to be your father, son, brother, sister, whatever it is. Excuse me. Because when you understand that, you can really orient your life in a better way. So I've come up with a list of questions that, not comprehensive, but will help you zero in on certain things you might need to change about yourself. And a quick example about this was actually this year, I'm trying a new thing with my goals. Before, I would set goals monthly, and then I would accomplish various goals, and I wouldn't accomplish various other ones. But instead, because I felt like my goals weren't actually driving progress, this year I chose to do fewer goals, longer time periods, but bigger goals. So quarterly goals, really, is what I'm leading to. And I decided that I wouldn't have any more than 3 quarterly goals every quarter. And this last week and a half ago, I was working on my quarterly goals that I only had 2, and I couldn't think of the third one. So I looked at my wife and I said, hey, are there any goals that you think I should have? And she said, I think you should support or, care more about the people around you. And basically, she was saying to me, be less selfish, worry less about my own projects and things. So that's become one of my goals, is to support more the people who are around me. And hopefully you can find more self-awareness from these questions and maybe create some sort of goal like that for yourself, because that's certainly something I'm working on. So the first question, and you can find these questions in the show notes. The first question is, what strengths do I have? What strengths do I have? And obviously on all these questions, you could probably, I yawn a lot. I just yawn a lot. But anyways, you can probably flip the question and kind of get the inverse answer. So what strengths do I have? So what weaknesses do I have? What do I feel insecure about? Or what do I feel very confident about? What do people compliment me on? What has no one ever complimented me on, ever? what are patterns of complaints of the people around me? What am I really, really bad at? Who would give me honest feedback? Who in your inner circle would actually be willing to give you honest feedback? And this is an important question, because if you can't answer this question, then that probably means you are too sensitive to feedback and you don't accept it readily. So I would try, if I were you, and encourage people around you to give you honest feedback, and don't defend yourself, but instead look for patterns among all the things that people say. What parts of my life are messy? And when I say messy, I mean literally messy. Like, is your car just disorganized, dirty inside? Is your closet a mess? Is your bedroom, your desk, your email, your summer vacation plans? Like, is your life messy? And I understand that things happen. Like, life itself is messy. Trials happen. You get cancer. Someone dies. You lose your job. COVID-19 happens. All sorts of things happen. But are there things that you can control 100% messy? You might not be perfect, and you probably won't. I'm not. I know for a fact I'm not. I'm probably, the one with the most to go on this journey. But asking yourself what parts of your life are messy helps you understand where you can start to clean things up. The last question I would suggest you ask yourself is, where have I progressed the least in my life? What facets of my life have I remained virtually the same? And with this question, you do have to take into consideration your values and what's important to you. Because if you don't care to win $1 million on the lottery, then you're probably not going to be spending lots of time and money buying lottery tickets. And that's a dumb example, but if you don't want to become the regional manager of sales, then you're probably not going to focus on becoming the regional manager of sales, which means that you might not have the best sales record. You might instead be a tremendous father or mother, right? So that's just that question. So go ahead and ask yourself these questions, write them down, and then ask the people around you these same questions. You'll have to tailor it to fit the situation, but ask them. What would they compliment you on? What would they never, ever compliment you on? Would they give you honest feedback? Asking these questions are going to help you better understand yourself and how you fit in reality. And that's going to better help you orient yourself towards where you really want to go, as well as just make your relationships with the people around you much better. You'll be more cognizant of what it is like to be around you. And hopefully in this, I've understood a little bit better of what it's like to be my podcast listeners. So actually, in that case, if you do have honest feedback, and this is 100% honest, I'm not pulling any punches here. You let me know what you have to say about my podcast. So reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram at The Hard Thing Podcast. I guess you can go to the Facebook or thehardthing.com/submit-challenge. You could put it in that small text box there. And I will read your feedback and I will take it into account. I promise you. Again, The Hard Thing Podcast at The Hard Thing Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Let me know what feedback you have. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Fittrack that I have. So on my website, I've gotten a few queries asking about reviews of the Fittrack and things like that. So I'm here just to tell you what I think about it, giving you an honest opinion of how it's worked for me and what I really, really like about it. Some of the things that I don't necessarily understand or use as much as I could. But anyways, so this next section is just a little bonus content, I guess, of just my review of the Dara Fittrack. So if you aren't aware of what it is, it's basically a scale, like a bathroom scale that you put on the ground. And I actually have it right underneath me right now. So I'm going to step on it, right? So it has these four little, I guess they might be called diodes or whatnot. four little metal things that you put your feet on, your bare feet. I'm going to pull out my phone because this actually connects via Bluetooth to your phone. And I'm going to step on it here. All right. It is, I don't know if it's going to work because I'm on carpet. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, let me pause this real quick. I'm going to go do it on the hard floor. All right. Okay, I'm back. So I just weighed myself on the Fit Tracker from Dara BMI. And one thing I really like about this is how much information it gives you. So going through all the information, it actually told me my weight, which is 209 pounds. My body mass index, which it says is your kilograms divided by your centimeters, or I guess, so it's basically the idea of body weight in relation to height. I'm 5'6", so my body mass index might be a little bit skewed because I'm kind of short, but I'm stocky. But then again, I might also have too much fat on my body. So my body mass index was 34, which it says is very high. That's something I'm working on. Then it says your body fat percentage. Mine is 31.7%. And that just means the proportion of adipose tissue in body composition. It reflects the level of fat in our body. Next is muscle rate, which mine is 62.8. Physical health and strength can be calculated using the proportion of muscle, weight, and height. So again, I'm very stocky for my build. Body water. I'm at 49.4%, which is unfortunately low, but it says optimum water content as a percentage in relation to body composition can boost the body's ability to burn fat, which increases the metabolic rate in healthy individuals. So obviously you want to have a good water rate. Then it actually gives bone mass for your body. So if I was just a skeleton, apparently I would only weigh 7.3 pounds, which I guess is high, which is interesting. I didn't know that you could have high bone mass, but whatever. Next is your basal metabolic rate. So that's the rate your body uses energy when at rest/inactive. And mine is 1,794 calories per day when I am completely inactive. So if I don't do a single thing, that's how many calories my body will burn in a day, including sleep and so forth. Next is protein rate, basically the rate of protein in your body and compared to how tall you are or things like that. Mine is 15.5%. Then it gives your metabolic age, which compares your personal body or basal metabolic rate calculated using your weight, height, muscle, and fat against the BMR for a specific age. So it's comparing what my BMR is versus what most people my age are. And it says my metabolic age is 34, whereas I am 27. Obviously, I'm being very vulnerable here and showing with you where I'm at. Then it says visceral fat index. Extent of visceral fat indicates a likelihood of health-related factors occurring. I am at 15, which is in the high range, unfortunately. Subcutaneous fat is adipose tissue located between the outer layer of skin and the connective tissue. So that's the layer of fat you don't want. Again, 28.4. Standard weight is 134.3. This says it's the ideal weight to measure physical health. Weight control. It's basically saying how much weight I should lose. Fat mass. And the weight control is 74.7 pounds, but the fat mass says I have 66 pounds of fat that I could lose. Weight without fat, 142. Muscle mass is 131 pounds. So that makes me feel pretty good. Okay. Protein mass is 32.4 pounds. I'm not exactly sure what the difference between protein mass and muscle mass is, but you get the picture. And the nice thing about this is that it also gives you a timeline of what it looks like, so you can look at the history and it tracks all this. And so I really like it. That is my review of the Fittrack. I would highly encourage you guys to go check it out. It's an awesome product. And for one thing, the thing that I like about it the most is that it helps me understand areas that I should improve on, right? For example, a quick insight there is that I should drink more water because that would allow me to burn more fat. At least that's what it says. and so that's something I can immediately put into my day to day. So that's the review on Dara Fit Tracker. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate you guys coming back. I know it's been super interesting, or interesting is a funny word, but it's super up and down with having, Ty on the show every so often, and then sometimes it's just a solo show, and we're kind of inconsistent. Just bear with us for now. We're still settling out a consistent schedule. But again, like I said, reach out to me with any comments you have, any feedback, good, bad, or ugly. I don't care. I'd like to hear it all. And again, that's at the Heartling Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, really wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow and you hit the notification button if there is one, so that way you never miss a single episode. Again, I just can't thank you enough for letting me put out this content and actually listening to it. So I'm very grateful to you guys. I want to build this community. So again, if you need anything, reach out. I'd love to see how I can help and support you guys, because you guys have been supporting me so much. So we'll come back on Monday. We have an awesome show, and actually it's the first show where we have 2 guests on at the same time, which is pretty interesting. So come back on Monday for the Monday show. But until then, keep doing hard things, because you will overcome average.